Section 1 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 1. Young laughters and my music! Aye, till now the voice can reach no blending minors near. 'Tis the bird's trill because the spring is here, and spring means trilling on a blossomy bough. 'Tis the spring joy that has no why or how, but sees the sun and hopes not nor can fear. Spring is so sweet and spring seems all the year. Dear voice, the first come birds but trill as thou. O music of my heart, be thus for long. Too soon the spring bird learns the later song. Too soon a sadder sweetness slays content. Too soon. There comes new light on onward day. There comes new perfume o'er a rosier way. Comes not again the young spring joy that went. Rome, November 1881. End of section 1. Section 2 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 2. That she is beautiful is not delight, as some think mother's joy, by pride of her, to witness questing eyes caught prisoner, and hear her praise the livelong dancing night. But the glad impulse that makes painter's sight bids me note her and grow the happier, and love that finds me as her worshipper reveals me each best loveliness aright. O goddess head! O innocent brave eyes! O curved and parted lips where smiles are rare and sweetness ever! O smooth shadowy hair gathered round the silence of her brow! Child, I'd needs love thy beauty stranger-wise, and oh the beauty of it, being thou! End of section 2. Section 3 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 3. I watch the sweet, grave face in timorous thought, lest I should see it dawn to some unrest, and read that in her heart is youth's ill guest. The querulous young sadness, born of naught, that wearies of the strife it has not fought, and finds the life it has not had unblessed, and asks, it knows not what that should be best, and till love come has never what it sought. But she is still. A full and crystal lake, so gives its skies their passage to its deeps, in an unruffled morn where no winds wake, and, strong and fretless, stirs not, nor yet sleeps. My darling smiles, and 'tis for gladness' sake. She hears a woe, 'tis simple tears she weeps. End of section 3. Section 4 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 4. 'Tis but a child. The quiet Juno gaze breaks at a trifle into mirth and glow. changed as a folded bud bursts into blow, and she springs, buoyant, on some busy craze, or, in the rhythm of her girlish plays, like light upon swift waves floats to and fro, and, whatsoe'er's her mirth, needs me to know, and keeps me young, by her young innocent ways. Just now she and her kitten raced and sprang to catch the daisy ball she tossed about. Then they grew grave, and found a shady tree, and Kitty tried to see the notes she sang. Now she flies hitherward. "Mother, quick, come see, 2 hyacinths in my garden almost out." Section 5 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 5. Last night the broad blue lightnings flamed the sky. We watched, our breaths caught as each burst its way, and through its fire outleaped the sharp white ray, and sudden dark reclosed when it went by. But she, that where we are will needs be nigh, had tired with hunting orchids half the day. Her father thought she called us. He and I, half anxious, reached the bedroom where she lay. O lily face upon the whiteness blent, how calm she lay in her unconscious grace! A peal crashed on the silence ere we went. She stirred in sleep, a little changed her place. "Mother," she breathed, a smile grew on her face. "Mother," my darling breathed, and slept content. Section 6 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 6. Sometimes, as young things will, she vexes me, wayward, or too unheeding, or too blind. Like aimless birds that, flying on a wind, strike slant against their own familiar tree. Like venturous children pacing with the sea, that turn but when the breaker spurts behind, outreaching them with spray. She in such kind is born against some fault, or does not flee. And so, may be, I blame her for her wrong, and she will frown and lightly plead her part, and then I bid her go. But 'tis not long, then comes she lip to ear and heart to heart, and thus forgiven her love seems newly strong, and, O my penitent, how dear thou art! Section 7 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 7. Her father lessons me, I at times am hard, chiding a moment's fault as too grave ill, and let some little blot my vision fill, scanning her with a narrow, near regard. True. Love's unresting gaze is self-debarred from all sweet ignorance, and learns a skill, not painless, of such signs as hurt love's will, that would not have its prize one tittle marred. Alas! who rears and loves a dawning rose starts at a speck upon one petal's rim? Who sees a dusk creep in the shrined pearl's glows, is ruined at once, my jewel growing dim! I watch one bud that on my bosom blows, I watch one treasured pearl for me and him. Section 8 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information, or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 8. Little child she, half defiant came, reasoning her case. 'Twas not so long ago. I cannot mind your scolding, for I know however bad I were, you'd love the same. And I, what countering answer could I frame? 'Twas true, and God's self told her so. One does but ask one's child to smile and grow, and each rebuke has love for its right name. And yet, methinks, sad mothers who for years, watching the child pass forth that was their boast, have counted all the footsteps by new fears, till even lost fears seem hopes whereof they're reft, and of all mother's good love soul is left. Is there love, or some remembered ghost? Section 8. Section 9 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 9. O weary hearts, poor mothers that look back! So outcasts from the vale where they were born, turn on their road, and, with a joy forlorn, see the far roofs below their arid track. So in chill buffets while the sea grows black, and windy skies, once blue, are tossed and torn, we are not yet forgetful of the morn, and praise anew the sunshine that we lack. Oh, sadder than pale sufferers by a tomb that say, "My dead is happier and is more," are they who dare no "is," but tell what's o'er. Thus the frank childhood, those the lovable ways, stirring the ashes of remembered days for yet some sparks to warm the livelong gloom. Section 9. Section 10 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 10. Love's Counterfeit. Not love, that worn and footsore thrall, who, crowned with withered buds and leaves gone dry, plods in his chains to follow one passed by, guerdoned with only tears himself lets fall. Love is asleep and smiling in his pall, and this that wears his shape and will not die was once his comrade shadow, Memory, his shadow that now stands for him in all. And there are those who, hurrying on past reach, see the dim follower and laugh, content. Lo, love pursues me, go where'er I will. Yet, longer gazing, some may half beseech, this must be love that wears his features still, or else when was the moment that love went? Section 10. Section 11 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information, or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 11. Love's Mourner. 'Tis men who say that through all hurt and pain, the woman's love, wife's, mother's, still will hold, and breathes the sweeter and will more unfold for winds that tear it, and the sorrowful rain. So in 1,000 voices has the strain of this dear patient madness been retold, that men call woman's love. Ah, they are bold, naming for love that grief which does remain. Love faints that looks on baseness face to face. Love pardons all, but by the pardonings dies, with a fresh wound of each pierced through the breast. And there stand pityingly in love's void place kindness of household wont familiar wise, and faith to love, faith to our dead at rest. End of section 11. Section 12 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 12. She has made me wayside posies. Here they stand, bringing fresh memories of where they grew, as new-come travellers from a world we knew wake every while some image of their land. So these, whose buds our woodland breezes fanned, bring to my room the meadow where they blew, the brookside cliff, the elms where wood-doves coo, and every flower is dearer for her hand. Oh, blossoms of the paths she loves to tread, some grace of her is in all thoughts you bear. For in my memories of your homes that were, the old, sweet loneliness they kept is fled. And would I think it back, I find instead a presence of my darling mingling there. End of section 12. Section 13 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 13. My darling scarce thinks music sweet save mine. 'Tis that she does but love me more than hear. She'll not believe my voice to stranger ear is merely measure to the note and line. Not so, she says, thou hast a secret thine, the other's singing's only rich or clear, but something in thy tones brings music near, as though thy song could search me and divine. O voice of mine that in some day not far, time, the strong creditor will call his debt, will dull, and even to her, will rasp and mar, sing time asleep because of her regret. Be twice thy life the thing her fancies are, thou echo to the self she knows not yet. Caserta, April, 1882. End of section 13. Section 14 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 14. To love her as today is so great bliss, I needs must think of morrows almost loath, morrows wherein the flower's unclosing growth shall make my darling other than she is. The breathing rose excels the bud I wis, yet bud that will be rose is sweet for both, and by seems like some later troth, named in the moment of a lover's kiss. Yes, I am jealous, as of one now strange that shall instead of her possess my thought, of her own self made new by any change, of her to be by ripening morrows brought. My rose of women under later skies, yet ah, my child with the child's trustful eyes. Cenobio, End of section 14. Section 15 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 15. That some day Death, who has a soul for jest, shall hide me in the dark and voiceless mould, and him whose living hand has mine in hold, where loving comes not, nor the looks that rest, shall make us naught where we are known the best. Forgotten things that leave their track untold, as in the August night the skies dropped gold. This seems no strangeness, but Death's natural hest. But looking on the dawn that is her face, to know she too is Death, seems misbelief. She should not find decay, but, as the sun moves mightier from the veil that hides his place, keep ceaseless radiance. Life is Death begun, but Death and her, that strangeness passing grief. End of section 15. Section 16 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 16. She will not have it that my day wanes low, poor of the fire its drooping sun denies, that on my brow the thin lines write goodbyes, which soon may be read plain for all to know, telling that I have done with youth's brave show. Alas, and done with youth in heart and eyes, with wonder and with far expectancies, save but to say, I knew such long ago. She will not have it. Lover-like to me, she with her happy gaze finds all that's best. She sees this fair and that unfretted still, and her own sunshine over all the rest. So she half keeps me as she'd have me be, and I forget to age through her sweet will. End of section 16. Section 17 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 17. And how could I grow old while she's so young? Methinks her heart sets time for mine to beat, we are so near. Her new thoughts, incomplete, find their shaped wording happen on my tongue. Like bloom on last year's winterings newly sprung, my youth upflowers with hers, and must repeat old joyances in me nigh obsolete. Could I grow older while my child's so young? And there are tales how youthful blood instilled, thawing frore age's veins gave life new course, and quavering limbs and eyes made indolent grew freshly eager with beginning force. She so breathes impulse. Were my years twice spent, not burdening age with her could make me chilled. End of section 17. Section 18 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 18. 'Tis hard that the full summer of our round is but the term where winter's signposts writ, that to have reached the best is leaving it, that final loss bears date from having found. So some proud vessel in a narrow sound sails at high water with the fair wind fit, and lo, the ebb along the sandy spit lower and lower till she jars, aground. 'Tis hard. We are young still, but more content. 'Tis our ripe flush, the heyday of our prime. We learn full breath, how rich of the air we are. But suddenly we note a touch of time, a little fleck that scarcely seems to mar, and we know then that some time since youth went. End of section 18. Section 19 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 19. Life on the wane. Yes, sudden that news breaks. And yet I would 'twere suddenly and less soon, since no forewarning makes loss opportune. And now I watch that slow advance time makes, watch as, while silent flow spreads broad the lakes mid the land levels of a smooth lagoon, one waiting, pitiful, on a tidal dune, aware too long before it overtakes. Ah, there is so quick a joy in hues and sun, and will my eyes see dim? Will vacant sense forget the lark, the surges on the beach? Shall I step wearily and wish 'twere done? Well, if it be love will not too go hence, love will have new glad secrets yet to teach. End of section 19. Section 20 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 20. There's one I miss. A little questioning maid that held my finger, trotting by my side, and smiled out of her pleased eyes open wide, wondering and wiser at each word I said. And I must help her frolics if she played, and I must feel her trouble if she cried. My lap was hers past right to be denied. She did my bidding, but I more obeyed. Dearer she is today, dearer and more, closer to me since sister womanhoods meet. Yet, like poor mothers some long while bereft, I dwell on toward ways, quaint memories left. I miss the approaching sound of pit-pat feet, the eager baby voice outside my door. End of section 20. Section 21 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 21. Hardly in any common tender wise, with petting talk, light lips on her dear cheek, the love I mean my child will bear to speak, loath of its own less image for disguise, but liefer will it floutingly devise, using a favourite jester's mimic pique, prompt, idle, by names with their sense to seek, and takes for language laughing ironies. But she, as when some foreign tongue is heard, familiar on our lips and closely known, we feel the every purport of each word when ignorant ears reach empty sound alone. So knows the core within each merry good, so gives back such a meaning in her own. End of section 21. Section 22 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 22. The brook leaps riotous with its life just found, that freshets from the mountain rains have fed, beats at the boulders in its hindered bed, and fills the valley with its triumphing sound. The strong and thirsty tarn sunk in deep ground has never a sigh wherewith its wealth is said, has no more ripples than the mayflies tread. Silence of waters is where they abound. And love, whatever love, sure makes small boast, 'tis the new lover's tale, in wonder yet. O happy mead, enriched streams jubilant gush! But who, being spouses, well have learned love's most, being child and mother learn not nor forget, these in their joyfulness feel the tarn's strong hush. End of section 22. Section 23 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 23. Birds sing, "I love you, love," the whole day through, and not another song can they sing right. But, singing done with, loving's done with, quite. The autumn sunders every twittering too. And I'd not have love make too much ado with sweet parades of fondness and delight, lest iterant want should make caresses trite, love names mere cuckoo ousters of the true. O heart can hear heart's sense in senseless naught, and heart that sure of heart has little speech. What shall it tell? The other knows its thought. What shall one doubt or question or beseech, who is assured and knows, and, unbesought, possesses the dear trust that each gives each. End of section 23. Section 24 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 24. You are scarcely a mother at that rate, only one child. The blithe soul pitied loud. And doubtless she, amid her household crowd, when one brings care in another's fortunate, when one fares forth another's at her gate. Yea, were her firstborn folded in his shroud, not with a whole despair would she be bowed. She has more sons to make her heart elate. Many to love her singly, mother theirs, to give her the dear love of being their need, to storm her lap by turns and claim their kiss, to kneel around her at their bedtime prayers, many to grow her comrades. Some have this. Yet I do not envy them indeed. Ramsgate, 1886. End of section 24. Section 25 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 25. You think that you love each as much as one, mothers with many nestlings 'neath your wings. Nay, but you know not. Love's most priceless things have unity that cannot be undone. You give the rays, I the englobed full sun. I give the river, you the separate springs. My motherhood's all my child's with all it brings. None takes the strong entireness from her, none. You know not. You love yours with various stress. This with a graver trust, this with more pride, this, maybe, with more needed tenderness. I by each uttermost passion of my soul am turned to mine. She is one, she has the whole. How should you know who appraise love and divide? End of section 25. Section 26 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 26. Of my one pearl so much more joy I gain, as he that to his sole desire is sworn, indifferent what women more were born. And if she loved him not all love were vain, gains more because of her. Yea, through all pain, all love and sorrows, were they too forlorn. Then who so happiest in the lands of morn mingles his heart amid a wifely train? Oh, child and mother, darling, mother and child, and who but we? We, darling, paired alone. Thou hast all thy mother, thou art all my own. That passion of maternity which sweeps tideless 'neath where the heaven of thee hath smiled has but one channel, therefore infinite deeps. End of section 26. Section 27 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 27. Since first my little one lay on my breast, I never needed such a second good, nor felt a void left in my motherhood she filled not always to the utterest. The summer linnet, by glad yearnings pressed, builds room enough to house a callow brood. I prayed not for another child, nor could, my solitary bird had my heart's nest. But she is cause that any baby thing, if it but smile, is one of mine in truth, and every child becomes my natural joy, and, if my heart gives all youth fostering, her sister, brother, seems the girl or boy. My darling makes me mother to their youth. End of section 27. Section 28 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 28. The Old Love 1. You love me, only me. Do I not know? If I were gone your life would be no more than his who, hungering on a rocky shore, shipwrecked, alone, observes the ebb and flow of hopeless ocean widening forth below, and is remembering all that was before. Dear, I believe it. At your strong heart's core I am the life, no need to tell me so. And yet, ah, husband, though I be more fair, more worth your love, and though you loved her not, else must you have some different, deeper name for loving me. Dimly I seem aware, as though you conned old stories long forgot. Those days are with you, hers, before I came. End of section 28. Section 29 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 29. The Old Love 2. The mountain traveller, joyous on his way, looks on the vale he left and calls it fair, then counts with pride how far he is from there, and still ascends. And, when my fancies stray, pleased with light memories of a bygone day, I would not have again the things that were. I take their thought-like fragrance in the air of flowers I gathered in my childish play. And thou, my very soul, can it touch thee if I remember her, or I forget? Does the sun ask if the white stars be set? Yes, I recall, shall many times, may be, recall the dear old boyish days again, the dear old boyish passion. Love, what then? 1873. End of section 29. Section 30 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information, or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 30. The Brook Rhine. Small current of the wilds afar from men, changing and sudden as a baby's mood. Now a green babbling rivulet in the wood, now a loitering broad and shallow through the glen, or threading mid the naked shoals, and then brattling against the stones, half mist, half flood, between the mountains where the storm clouds brood. And each change but to wake or sleep again. Pass on, young stream, the world has need of thee. Far hence a mighty river on its breast bears the deep-laden vessels to the sea. Far hence wide waters feed the vines and corn. Pass on, small stream, to so great purpose born. On to the distant toil, the distant rest. The Splugen Pass, 1873. End of section 30. Section 31 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information, or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 31. Choosing. The thrush that, yet alone, pipes for his mate, knows she will come in time to build the nest, knows she'll be she his tiny soul loves best. 'Tis love-time at the hawthorn blossom's date. And the new flower-cups bare their hearts and wait, while careless breezes bring them love for guest, and youth laughs ready for the glad unrest. But love that chooses lingers desolate. And I, who seek, and yearn for love to stir, and I, who seek, and cannot love but one, and have not known her being, nor can find, I take my homeless way for sake of her, and love-time's here, and love-time will be done. Birds end all singing in the autumn wind. 1881. End of section 31. Section 32 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 32. Poulain the Prisoner I. Beyond his silent vault green springs went by, the river flashed along its open way, blithe swallows flitted in their billowy play, and the sweet lark went quivering up the sky. With him was stillness and his heart's dumb cry, and darkness of the tomb through hopeless day, save that along the wall one single ray shifted, through jealous loopholes, westerly. One single ray, and where its light could fall, its rusty nail carved saints and angels there, and warriors, and slim girls with braided hair, and blossomy boughs and birds athwart the air. Rude work, but yet a world. And light for all was one slant ray upon the prison wall. End of section 32. Section 33 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 33. Poulain the Prisoner II. One ray, and in its track he lived and wrought, and in free wideness of the world, I know, one said, "Fair sunshine, yet it serves not so, it needs a tenderer when I shape my thought," and "'Tis too brown and molten in the drought," and "'Tis too wan a greyness in this snow," and would have toiled, but wearied and was woe, while days stole past and had bequeathed him nought. Maybe in she-saws, round the fortress mead, she-saws where now, when fair time brings its press, they seek the prisoner's tower to gaze and guess, and love the work he made in loneliness. One cursed the gloom and died without a deed, the while he carved where his one ray could lead. End of section 33. Section 34 of Mother and Daughter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information, or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Section 34. Poulain the Prisoner III. O loneliness! O darkness! So we wail, crying to life to give we know not what, the hope not come, the ecstasy forgot, the things we should have had, and, needing, fail, nor know what thing it was for which we ail, and, like tired travellers to an unknown spot, pass listless, noting only, "Yet 'tis not," and count the ended day an empty tale. Ah me! to linger on in dim repose, and feel the numbness over hand and thought, and feel the silence in the heart that grows. Ah me! to have forgot the hope we sought. One ray of light, and a soul lived and wrought, and on the prison walls a message rose. She-saws, 1881. End of section 34. End of Mother and Daughter by Augusta Webster. Thank you for listening.